Okey, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dan selamat sejahtera. Nama saya Muhammad Umar Hafiz bin Azhan dan nombor matrik saya ialah 15 DKM 22F1022. So, hari ini bab yang kami akan terangkan ialah berkenaan dengan bab 7.2 iaitu kepilanan oksigen dan learning outcome. Hasil pelajaran yang kita boleh dapat dari bab ini ialah pelajar dapat mengetahui tentang jenis kepilanan gas, operasi kepilanan gas, peralatan kepilanan gas, kenal pasti komponen asas kepilanan gas, oksigen dan acetylene, jenis nyalakan dan prosedur permulaan. Berdasarkan gambar ini adalah perkara yang berlaku sewaktu menjalankan kepilanan oksigen dan acetylene. Memahami pengenalan kepilanan oksigen dan acetylene. Kepilanan bahan api oksigen biasa dipanggil kepilanan oksigen acetylene, kepilanan oksigen atau kepilanan gas TAS, dan pemotongan bahan api ialah proses yang masing-masing menggunakan gas bahan api dan dioksigen untuk menyimpan dan memotong logam. Gas bahan api iaitu acetylene, hidrogen, propana atau butana. Ignition. Proses kepilanan acetylene menggunakan gabungan oksigen dan gas acetylene untuk menyediakan nyalaan suhu tinggi untuk mengimpal dan memotong logam. Yang pertama, memotong logam serta mengimpal. Ini kerana obor kepilanan menjana haba yang mencukupi untuk membawa logam sehingga suhu lebur. Yang kedua, dalam proses ini, acetylene dicampur dengan oksigen dalam kadaran yang betul dalam obor kepilanan dan dinyalakan. Seterusnya, nyalaan yang terhasil di hujung obor cukup panas untuk mencair dan bercantum dengan logam. Yang keempat, nyalaan acetylene mencapai suhu kira-kira 3300 Celsius dan dengan itu boleh mencairkan kebanyakan logam ferus dan bukan ferus yang biasa digunakan. Batang logam pengisi atau kepilanan biasanya ditambahkan pada kolam logam cair untuk membina sedikit jahitan untuk kekuatan yang lebih besar. Yang keenam, kepilanan acetylene tidak memerlukan elektrik dan biasanya digunakan untuk penyelenggaraan di kedai dan perbaikan sebahagian kecil di mana proses kepilanan lain adalah mahal peralatan kepilanan. Yang ketujuh, acetylene juga boleh digunakan untuk pemanasan awal, pemotongan logam, pengerasan kotak dan penyepuh lindapan. Seterusnya, gambar rajak ini menunjukkan barang-barang yang ada di dalam gas welding dan cara untuk melakukannya. Kepilanan gas. Kepilanan gas ialah proses penyambungan logam. Kaedah pemanasan dua bahagian logam untuk disambung sehingga cair dan dicantum menjadi satu. Okey, berdasarkan gambar rajak di bawah menunjukkan cara dan langkah-langkah untuk melakukan kepilanan gas.
Hi, my name is Kugenter. Today I want to present about chapter 7.2, gas welding. Gas welding got two types, that is low pressure gas welding and high pressure gas welding. Low pressure gas welding is ethylene gas supplied from gas-fired ethylene to pressure less than 1.0 bar. High pressure gas welding is gas from the gas generator ethylene with pressure from 1 to 15 bar. Next, use gas welding in industry. Metal fabrication. Metal fabrication works involving the sheet metal thickness greater than 1.0 mm up to 3.0 mm. For example, in the work of the vehicle body repair works involves knocking and pasting portions of the damaged vehicle bodies. Second, piping, air conditioning system, oil and gas piping and etc. The welding profession provides a wide range of care options. Many welding jobs are associated with high-risk work environments such as underwater commercial diving or oil pipeline construction. Expert welders, such as those working on pipelines and in underwater environment, are qualified for the most difficult and therefore highest paying jobs. Many welding jobs are with high risks, so welders must wear apron, safety goggles, safety boots and more to reduce the risks. Three types of welding, that is metal fabrication, pipeline welding and underwater welding. Metal fabrication. Welders that works in metal fabrication are responsible for the assembly, shaping and welding of metal pieces, incorporated and structures and machinery. Next is pipeline welding. Pipeline welders or pipe fitters as they call often calls are responsible for producing secure pipelines used for transporting water, oil, gases, and other hazardous material. The degree of difficulty in pipeline welding is higher than most other welding jobs because many pipeline welding projects take place outdoors where welders are exposed to unpredictable weather conditions. Last is underwater welding. Underwater welders are trained to be proficient in wet welding and dry welding techniques. Wet welding involves a special electrode with DC power, and dry welding takes place in hyperbaric chamber filled with a breathable mixture of helium and oxygen. Example of metal fabrication. Next is example of pipeline welding. Last is example of underwater welding. Gas welding operation. Gas welding is accomplished by melting the edge of surface and mixing with a gas flame and allowing the molten metal to flow together, thus forming a solid continuous joint with coolant. The process is particularly suitable for joining metal sheet and plates with thickness of 20 to 50 mm. The filler material of more than 15 mm thick is added to the weld as the welding load. Several gas combinations can be used to produce a hot flame of welding metals. Common mixtures of gases are oxygen and ethylene, oxygen and hydrogen, oxygen and other fuel gases, and air and ethylene. Oxygen and ethylene mixtures are used in much larger quantities than others and occupy a prominent position in the welding industry. The temperature of the oxygen ethylene flame in its hottest region is about 3200 Celsius, while the temperature obtained in the oxygen hydrogen flame is about 1900. That's all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya Zamrul Izam bin Zamamu dari kelas JKM 1A. Hari ini saya akan bercakap tentang OC Acetylene Welding Equipment. Dalam acara ini, silinder oksigen dan juga acetylene dipasang di tapak di mana kipalan gas akan dilakukan. Silinder oksigen dicat dengan warna hitam, manakala silinder acetylene dicat dengan warna merun. Sebelum melakukan proses gas welding, pengikut perlulah memakai PPE seperti kacamata keselamatan untuk melindungi mata, memakai apron kalis api, memakai baju bengkel lengan panjang dan juga sarung tangan semasa mengimpal. Gas welding equipment. Antara peralatan yang perlu digunakan semasa gas welding adalah fuel gas cylinder with pressure regulator, oxygen cylinder with pressure regulator, welding touch, blue-green oxygen hose, red fuel gas hose, trolley for transportation of the gas cylinder untuk mengangkut silinder gas, check valve untuk memeriksa tekanan yang ada di dalam silinder, dan return valve, dan juga welding touch. Touch kipalan gas, injek acetylene perlu dibuka sedikit dan nyalakan api menggunakan flame. Kemudian, buka injek acetylene sampai tidak kelihatan asap hitam. Terdapat 3 jenis api oxy gas welding, iaitu neutral flame, reduction flame, dan juga oxidizing flame, iaitu api yang digunakan untuk menimbak. Terdapat 2 teknik ledakan dalam menyipat, iaitu left work teknik dan juga right work teknik. Api akan meleburkan rod kipalan untuk menghasilkan leburan besi supaya dapat mencantumkan dua besi antara satu sama lain. Peralatan untuk membawa silinder gas. Terdapat regulator, hoses, acetylene cylinder, oxygen cylinder, torch, tip, dan juga trolley untuk mengangkut ke mana-mana sahaja silinder gas. Dapat lihat setup penuh bagi kipalan gas di dalam belajar ini. Proses kipalan oxyacetylene gas sesuai digunakan untuk ferrous maupun non-ferrous metal. Ianya juga banyak digunakan dalam industri.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nazalika binti Rusaidi. My metric number 50 DKM 22F 1028 from DKM 1A. So now we move to regulator. As you can see in the diagram that there is acetylene cylinder pressure gauge, acetylene working pressure gauge, acetylene regulator tab, oxygen working pressure gauge, oxygen cylinder pressure gauge, and oxygen regulator tab. Oxygen and acetylene pressure regulators can produce a steady flow of gas under varying cylinder pressure, di mana ia menghasilkan aliran gas yang stabil di bawah tekanan silinder yang berbeza-beza. Control the flow of gas from the cylinder to maintain the required working pressure, di mana ia mengawal aliran gas dari silinder untuk mengekalkan tekanan kerja yang diperlukan. A cylinder pressure gauge, which indicate the actual pressure in cylinder. Cylinder pressure menunjukkan tekanan gas sebenar dalam silinder. Working pressure, which shown the working or line pressure used at the torch. Working pressure ialah tekanan gas yang dikeluarkan semasa melakukan kerja kipalan. Now we move to type of regulator. Regulator have two types, which is single stage regulator and two stage regulator. As you can see at this diagram has a difference between single stage regulator and two stage regulator. The difference is at stem type seat mechanism and adjusting spring. Kita boleh lihat di sini adjusting spring ada dua dan stem type seat mechanism ada dua. Manakala di single stage regulator ada satu spring dan stem type seat mechanism. Single stage regulator are recommended for application where slight delivery pressure increase due to decreasing cylinder pressure will not affect the performance or characteristic of the work or test result. Two-stage regulator are recommended for application that require a constant delivery pressure over a range of decreasing inlet pressure. This species two-stage regulation provide superior operating characteristic for application where change in delivery pressure will affect performance characteristic or work or test result. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dureshwar. My metric number is 15 DKM 22F 1030. There are two types of regulator, which is single stage regulator and two stage regulator. Firstly, the single stage regulator. Single stage regulator has high pressure area where the high pressure of cylinder directly into this space. Maksudnya kalau kawasan ada tekanan tinggi, mana tekanan tinggi silinder akan terus ke ruang ini. And secondly, the pressure reading can be seen on the needle ready regulator and reduce the pressure to work in accordance with appreciate adjustment using the adjustment screw regular pads. Maksudnya mengurangkan tekanan untuk berfungsi mengikut peralasan yang sesuai. Thirdly, regular security level is lower than two-stage regulators. Now, this is a diagram of single-stage regulator. The single-stage regulator have pressure adjusting handle, bonnet, spring housing, inlet pressure gauge, poppet ambassador, needle valve to flow control, outlet pressure gauge. Now, two-stage regulator. Two-stage regulator has two chambers of pressure and low pressure area. Secondly, high pressure area at regulators accept the high pressure in the cylinder and the pressure readings can be read on the pressure gauge. Maksudnya, the regulator boleh menerima tekanan tinggi dalam silinder dan bacaan tekanan boleh dibaca. Thirdly, while the low pressure area receives the controlled admission of the gas from high pressure columns by adjusting the adjustment screw on the regulator according to the required working pressure. Maksudnya, kawasan tekanan rendah untuk menerima kemasukan gas terkawal dari lajur tekanan tinggi dengan melaraskan screw on the regulator. Thirdly, the level of the security is better than regulator on stage. Now is the diagram of the two-stage regulator. Firstly, the pressure adjusting handle and bonnet. Second stage diagram, interpressure gauge. First stage diagram and first stage preset, bonnet, first stage poppet assembly, second stage of pop assembly, needle valve to full control, and the outlet pressure gauge. In addition, most regulator have two stages. The first stage of the regulator is fixed pressure regulator whose function is to release the gas from the cylinder at constant intimate pressure despite the pressure in the cylinder falling as the gas cylinder is used. Macam pengatur tekanan berfungsi untuk membebaskan gas daripada silinder. Secondly, the adjustable second stage of the regulator controls the pressure variation from the intermediate pressure of the low outlet pressure. Macam mengawal mengurangkan tekanan daripada tekanan pengantaran. Thirdly, the regulator has two pressure gauge on one indicating cylinder pressure, the other indicating hose pressure. The adjustment knob of the regulator is sometimes roughly calibrated for the pressure, but an accurate setting requires observation of the gauge. Maksudnya dua tolok tekanan, satu menunjukkan tekanan silinder dan satu menunjukkan tekanan hose. And the common gauge settings for cutting: on and off material oxygen 30 to 35 psi and acetylene 3 to 9 psi, and or one or two material oxygen 55 to 85 psi, acetylene 6 to 12 psi. And lastly, one material, oxygen under 10 to under 60 psi, acetylene 7 to 15 psi.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Nur Aliana Fisha binti Muhammad Halin. My matrix number is 15 DKM22F 1032. So today I will present to you guys about gas hoses. For gas hoses, the hose pipe are used for the supply of gases from the pressure regulators. Hoses are fabricated from rubber. Oxygen hoses are green in color and have right-hand track. Acetylene hoses are red in color with left-hand track. Left-hand tracks can be identified by a groove in the body of the nut, and it may have ACET stamp on it. A connection consists of a nipple that is forced into the hose and a nut that connects the nipple to the regulator and the torch. The acetylene nut can be distinguished from the oxygen nut by the notch that runs around the center, indicating a left-hand track. So, in this picture, we have acetylene and oxygen. For acetylene, we have left-hand track and notch. For oxygen, we have right-hand track and nipple. Next, we will continue with welding torch. It is a tool for mixing oxygen and acetylene in correct proportion and burning the mixture at the end of the tip. Gas flow to the torch is controlled with the help of the two needle valves in the handle of the torch. So as you can see in that picture, we have needle valve control, acetylene, oxygen, mixing chamber, flame, hose for oxygen and hose for acetylene. The torch is the part that the welder holds and manipulates to make the weld. It has a connection and valve for the fuel gas and a connection and valve for the oxygen, a handle for the welder to grasp, a mixing chamber set at an angle where the fuel gas and oxygen meet, with a tip where the flame forms. So, as you can see at this picture, we have welding torch and cutting torch. For welding torch, we have two pipes, gas hoses, and gas on-off valve. For cutting torch, we have three pipes, oxygen blast valve, oxygen blast trigger, gas hoses, gas valve, and the nozzle that can be unscrewed. The extra pipe is for the oxygen blast, which help to burn and blast the melted metal out of the cut. Lastly, I will continue with typical torch style or welding tip. As you can see at that picture, we have many different torch style or welding tip. So, a small welding torch with throttle valve located at the front end of the handle, ideally suited to sheet metal welding, can be fitted with cutting. Attachment in place of the welding head shown. Welding torch of this generic design are by far the most widely used. They will handle any oxyacetylene welding job. Can be fitted with multi-flame, which is rosebud heat for heating application, and accommodate cutting attachment that will cut steel 6-inch thick. A full-size oxygen cutting torch which has all valve located in its rear body. Another style of cutting torch with oxygen valve located at the front end of its handles. So, it's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Nama saya Putri Aisofia binti Syarniza. Nombor matrik saya 15 DKM 22 F1036. Seterusnya saya akan menyambung pembentangan dengan welding tip. The tip size are identified by the diameter of the opening. The diameter of the tip opening used for welding depends upon the type of metal to be welded. Welding on different thicknesses of metal is possible because torches are equipped with different size heads or tips. So this is the welding tip. They have three sizes: large diameter, medium diameter, and small diameter. Next, 8.3.6 Welding Manifold System and Single Station System. Manifold system allows the necessary volume to be supplied to work area. Flash arrestor perangkap. It is a safety device that prevents an explosion or a backfire in torch or torch head from reaching the regulators and acetylene cylinders. Next, types of welding flames. The flame is the most important means to control the welding joint and the welding process. The correct type of flame is essential for the production of satisfactory welds. The flame must be of the proper size, shape and condition in order to operate with maximum efficiency. Untuk lebih senang faham, api welding perlu dalam keadaan betul agar lebih mudah untuk di-welding dan hasil kerja yang dihasilkan terlihat lebih kemas. So, there are three basic types of oxy-acetylene flames. First, natural welding flame, which is acetylene and oxygen in equal proportion. Two, carburizing welding flame or reducing, which is excess of acetylene. And the last one, oxidizing welding flame, which is excess of oxygen. So this is the gas welding flame. The first one is natural flame, and the second one oxidizing flame, and the last one is carburizing flame. Next, typical startup procedures. Verify that equipment visually appears safe, i.e. post-condition visibility of gauges. Clean torch orifices with a tip cleaners. A small wire gauge file set used to clean slag and dirt from the torch tip. Crack or open cylinder valves slightly, allowing pressure to enter the regulators slowly. And the last one, opening the cylinder valve quickly with slam the regulator and will cause failure. Next, this is also the startup procedures. Never stand directly in the path of a regulator when opening the cylinder. Check for leaks by listening for hissing or by using a soapy bubble solution. Adjust the regulators to the current operating pressure. Slightly open and close the oxygen and acetylene valves at the torch head to purge any atmosphere from the system. Allows use a flint and steel spark lighter to light the oxygen acetylene flame. And the last one, never use a butane lighter to light the flame. So that's all from me. Thank you.